Welcome to Bloomers in the Garden. I'm Len Schroeder.
And I'm Julio Zamora.
A listener texted the Bloomers in the Garden hotline and asked what flowers are edible. We'll give you a list for your lunch in our first segment. Pardon me.
It's deja vu all over again. This time of year, listeners ask, why did my hydrangea bloom? We'll tell you what might be going on in our second segment.
Certain vines can climb into the top branches of our trees. They compete with sunlight and they can kill the tree. We'll tell you what you can do in our third segment.
Speaking of unwanted vines, leaves of 3, let it be. Poison ivy is a real problem to most homeowners. We have ways to eliminate poison ivy during our fourth segment.
So what's bugging you? A listener called in the garden hotline and asked us to identify an insect that he's battling. What was it? The snowy leafhopper. Hear all about it in our final segment.
So stay tuned and we'll be right back in the garden right after these messages. Bloomers in the Garden is brought to you each week by Bloomers Home and Garden Center. Bloomers is an award-winning garden center just 20 minutes from Philadelphia. Bloomers has been providing expert advice turning brown thumbs green for over 30 years. At Bloomers, we want you to ask us every question, even if you think it's silly. We share information in a friendly, non-judgmental way that is meant to teach and spread the joy of gardening. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center in Washington Township, Gloucester County. For directions, go to bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden.
Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden.
Fertilome's Triple Action contains 70% neem oil and 0.25% pyrethrins as a concentrate and ready to spray. It is an insecticide, fungicide, and miticide labeled to use on vegetables, fruits, nuts, herbs, spices, and ornamentals. This organic OMRI-listed product controls a wide variety of insect pests and diseases, including aphids, scale, spider mites, whiteflies, rust, leaf spot, and powdery mildew. This insecticide is an all-in-one bottle that will cure just about any problem you may run into throughout the year. Fertilome's Triple Action has been helping gardeners across the country for years. Best to apply in late evening and early morning hours. Mix 1 ounce, which is equivalent to 2 tablespoons in a gallon of water. The best part is Triple Action may be used up to the day of harvest. So the next time you are visiting your favorite garden center, ask for Fertilome's Triple Action and expect to have the best-looking plants in the neighborhood.
You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies, 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden.
Welcome, everybody, to Bloomers in the Garden. A listener texted the Bloomers in the Garden hotline and asked, what are some flowers that are edible? Oh, Len, how about that?
I love that. I love this. But remember, edible does not always mean palatable.
That's right.
Edible means you can safely consume the flower.
That's good.
Now I'm going to put that to the test. Okay. Tuberous begonias. The flowers are edible. I have never eaten a tuberous begonia flower. All right.
First for
so if you go to our YouTube channel, you're going to see me stick it in my mouth, and hopefully I don't spit it out.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So here we go. I have a tuberous begonia flower. It's yellow, by the way. And
here we go. Here we go.
Here we go.
There we go.
No, I'm kidding.
How is it?
Not bad.
Not bad?
A little bit like sorrel. Do you know what sorrel is? Sorrel's is like a sweet and sour taste to it. Here, take a leaf.
Take a leaf. Okay.
It's like sorrel. Do you know what sorrel is, Aaron?
I know what Sewell is. The
Yeah, no, sorrel.
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 Wow, that is
So
real.
it's got a little it's got, again, sweet and sour. So it's
Sweet and
crispy. It's like a lettuce, like watery. Most flowers are going to be, unless you dry them out, because there are several flowers that you can dry out. So this is a tuberous begonia flower, okay? Tuberous begonia flower. And
I like this
we
one.
do not, we have to put some kind of disclaimer on here.
Oh, really?
You know, do not eat flowers unless you go and you do a little bit of research.
That's right.
Spit begonia flowers on the mic. But yeah, you want to make sure that you do a little bit of research before you go out and just start harvesting your flowers. So, because some of them are not going to be, like, again, palatable. Some of them may be downright poisonous. But the ones that we're telling you about right now, we do know that are edible. So, again, tuberous begonia flowers. Let's not get it mixed up. Not the stems, not anything else, not the flowers.
The petals.
Number 2 on our list, Julio. What do we got?
We have daylilies, one of your favorite, Len.
It is.
Hey, let me say something.
Go ahead.
When I came to Bloomers,
Right.
and it was in the beginning when I came on.
Long
you came up to,
time ago.
Yeah,
you were much younger then. I don't think you had gray hair then.
No, I didn't.
You had more hair for sure.
I had more
so
hair.
did I.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, Len comes walking out, and he comes out with this daylily, and he says, "Oh, look at this, Julio!" And he pulls out one of the petals and eats it. I go, "What's wrong with that guy?
Yeah.
Is he okay?"
We didn't have time to list everything that was wrong, but again, it's. You know, I compare it again. It's like more like a lettuce, and go ahead. You've got, and Aaron, you have a petal, right? You've been nibbling on it.
Yeah.
Along, what would you? Because you're like, you've never really partaken of the herb.
Nah, to me it tastes like salad, man. It's got like
lettuce.
like a lemony kind of lettuce in a sense. It tastes good,
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
So you could put this into like a spring salad or a mixed salad. I mean, I think it tastes better than like some of that like mesclun salad or lettuce.
Definitely better than iceberg. I wouldn't put it past romaine.
Yeah, no. But and again, the tips of it it's real tender.
Yeah.
It's real tender.
Nice crunch.
It does have a crunch to it.
Very, very good.
But you want to eat the petals. I shouldn't talk with my mouth full. You don't want to eat the pollen or the stamen or the pistil of the plant. You just want to eat the petals, okay? Not that kind of pistil.
Oh.
Okay, we're talking about plant parts. And again, where the begonia was like a sweet and sour taste, that this is more subtle, more like a lettuce. It's good.
Lettuce, yeah.
It's really good.
Very good.
Now, the next thing that's up for bid, darn it, we didn't grab a hibiscus flower.
Oh, we did.
We're talking about tropical hibiscus. The flowers have a mild, like cranberry citrus flavor, and that they actually use it as a dye. Like our hummingbird food or nectar has hibiscus flower in it, so it dyes it red. And then that way it's all natural, all organic. But that also I can see, and it has the same type of trumpet style flower as the daylily does. Unfortunately, we do not have one of those in the studio. Our actual meal is finished here in the studio. But again, that is the tropical hibiscus flower. And again, mild cranberries, citrusy, and it also can be used for teas. And again, I'm seeing salads,
Salads.
the colors that you can get, especially from daylilies. You've got oranges and you've got even reds. I don't know if I would do yellows because it may just look like wilted lettuce. But something that contrasts with the lettuce. And it goes
Probably
back
work
to
well with coleslaw.
coleslaw.
Like a coleslaw type of lettuce.
But-
or tacos.
Tacos.
Taco lettuce, yeah.
Absolutely. Because again, the flavor's mild. It's not.
Yeah, it's not
It's
pungent.
not real pungent.
Right.
Yeah,
And
pretty
again,
awesome.
So again, going back, it's a tropical hibiscus. that we're talking about, the one that's used as a house plant, that's used as a patio plant, the one that is not hardy, that you need to bring back in, that those flowers are edible. But again, you don't want to necessarily eat the stamen, pistil, the center parts of the plant. You want to eat the actual petals of the flowers. All right, on to Julio. Tell me about nasturtium.
Nasturtiums, both flowers and leaves, have a peppery taste, which is really nice.
They do, and it's real peppery.
Real peppery.
Yeah, that it's not so much that you can't eat it, but you definitely get that taste. Like when you bite into it and it hits your tongue,
Right.
Your brain immediately says peppery. Peppery, not hot peppery, but just that it's got a little bit of a sharpness to it. And it's really good. It's very good. Every fall and spring, I partake of pansies. I do. There are often times where, we don't get it to eat sometimes. It's busy. So grab a couple of pansy flowers and chow down. And of course, all of the new high school people that are working for us just look at it. It's like we're completely crazy. But again, has a fresh taste, a little bit peppery, not more subtle than the nasturtium, but good. It's not like cilantro. Do you like cilantro?
I do.
Yeah, I
You
don't.
don't like it? I don't know.
I if it's mixed with something, I can deal with it.
Not
Like
by
straight
itself.
pansy, but not pansy. Straight parsley, no problem.
No.
I can eat straight
Oh,
parsley
really?
without a
No,
problem.
I can't do that.
Yeah,
Nah, I don't like it.
freshens your breath.
Oh, it does?
It does.
Oh.
It's not a hint, but next time I tell you, here, have some parsley. Might be.
Okay.
So that's why they put it on your plate as a
they
little
do.
thing to
Oh, I
freshen
see.
your breath
Freshen
when
your
you're done.
Oh, okay. Thanks for that.
Anyway, that's all right. So if you know someone, rather than give them a Tic Tac, you can give them some here's some parsley.
There you go.
So anyway, back to pansies. Pansies, I like that because it's not only like regular full-size pansies where they're the big flowers, but also like the Johnny Jump-Up
Jump-ups.
violas.
Violas, yeah.
That those flowers, I saw them used one time where you put them in an ice cube tray and you freeze them in the ice cube tray and they come suspended in the ice cube tray and then you use them in drinks and things like that. And it's like,
That's fancy.
well, aren't you? Hoi polloi. Anyway, so it looks, it's someplace to
right.
impress your neighbors, impress your friends.
There you go, folks.
There you go. That's right. Yeah, my son got engaged.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'm excited. Love Alex.
Yeah.
Our parents, we have to get together with them.
Right.
Maybe I'll, try to impress them somehow. Yeah, with the panties. I might do that. I need all the help I can get.
Oh, gosh. You might, I don't know, Don.
It's lucky my son's so handsome. You can get away with it. But it's like, here's my dad.
Yeah.
He sells
Him and his
Calmanor.
panties. It does.
Anyway, so pansies
brother.
and ice cube. Aaron, not going to help, you think? He's shaking his head. No, thanks. Thanks for your support, everyone.
That's right.
All right, Julio, tell me about lilacs.
Yes, lilac flowers. Their flavors are, depending on the cultivar, from no flavor to a green flavor to a true floral lilac flavor.
Green flavor.
I don't know.
It's
Tell
green.
me.
Watch, that tastes green.
It could be.
I guess daylily kind of tastes green.
Yeah.
If I were to describe green, I'd say daylily tastes green. All right, go ahead.
I use the flowers in ice cream, which is really good for now, and soft cheeses and pastries. So it's right up your alley there, Len, all the sweet stuff.
It is. It is. When I just got back from Denver.
You did?
And that I was visiting with Danielle, my future stepson, Ryan, and that he'd been out there for about 9 months, and he worked in this really, another hoi polloi, highfalutin restaurant.
Really?
But it had this bar in the back. After you finished your meal, you went back there, and they would make you a mixed drink based on not only what you like, but also your personality.
How about that?
So, it was, do you like, sparkling, blah, 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 blah. And one of the things that they asked about was floral scents.
Whoa.
So I equate the lilac
Okay.
as having that floral flavor where like even the flowers of lavender are edible, and they have that same thing, that same floral tones. And I think most of the like chamomile, that's our next one coming up, where that's also edible, but so is a plant. And I mean, how many teas? Do you drink chamomile tea?
I do.
Does it put you to bed, relax you, everything else? Does it work?
Really, it does work.
It does work.
Yeah.
Well, you are totally into oils,
Oh,
essential
yeah, still
oils.
am. Yep.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that one day.
Yeah, I know.
Like, what the heck is that?
That was peppermint.
Is somebody burning something in the microwave in the office?
Yeah, I know.
Man, it was it peppermint oil?
Yeah, it's pretty.
Or was it like it smelled like eucalyptus?
Oh,
it
no,
was potent.
it was oregano and it was a mix of oregano and thyme.
Cuban oregano?
No.
No. All right, just checking.
Right.
Anyway, what would that be for?
Oregano and thyme.
Chase
I use it
people
as an antibiotic.
Really?
Yeah.
Does it work?
Yeah, it works.
Really?
Yeah, it does.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have something for
Your back?
Yeah, I've got issues with my hamstrings.
Oh, okay.
Hamstrings and calves. Like I said, just got back from Denver.
Oh, really? Keep eating those begonias.
Yeah, I was trying to. I was definitely praying at the Gardens of the Gods. It was like, my God, please, my legs hurt so bad.
Anyway.
Squash.
Squash, yeah.
Squash is often, I see it on menus and stuff. Aaron, squash, deep fried squash? No, you shouldn't have said that. Sam, how about you? Anybody?
Come on, somebody out there.
Have you ever had squash flowers cooked?
I've had spaghetti squash.
Well, we're talking about flowers. Nah, I've had spaghetti squash too. Actually,
I
I've
don't
grown
eat
it.
flowers.
TJ?
TJ.
Have you ever seen them where they take squash flowers and they basically put a little bit of, and they deep fry them, or they fry them up in butter?
He said no.
Well, I have seen it. I haven't eaten it. They can be stuffed with different types of cheeses, but you have to remove the flower parts. They need to be neutered. Okay, so what you need to do is make sure you take the flower parts out of them, because my guess is that they taste bad. So that's the stamens and the pistil before you use it. And that goes with most of this thing. Like you hear me saying, use the petals. So the same type of thing. All right, Julio, Mr. Roses.
Oh, yes, Mr. Roses.
Tell me all about how to use roses to eat.
Yes, roses, they're used in the Middle Eastern and Indian and Chinese cuisine, by the way. And,
Okay.
You can put them, they can be added into cakes, jams, and confections. And you can also, remember the rose tea, that's a big hit which originated in China.
Okay. All right.
So it's got a lot of uses.
Did you go out and grab a rose and
No, I didn't.
eat it?
No.
Yeah, I went to eat one.
Did you? What happened?
Japanese beetle. No, I'm kidding.
Well,
A little extra protein.
a little extra protein.
But crunchy.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
Anybody got a toothpick? All right. All right. If you are wondering about flowers that you can eat, please give us a call on the hotline.
Yeah, that's right.
You can reach us anytime because you leave a message and then we get right back to you. And make sure that, like some of our callers, right, that their voicemails are full.
Yes, they are.
And we have to call several times.
Yeah, it's more
but
than
you get a
once.
free T-shirt if we use your call on the air or your text, like we will this gentleman, if we can ever get a hold of him. That's right. All right. So again, call the hotline. What's that number, Julio?
609-685-1880.
That's right. We'll be back in the garden right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. Coast of Maine's Organic Castine Blend Organic Raised Bed Mix is the best soil for raised bed gardens, planter boxes, and container gardens. It grows amazing vegetables. It is made with a mixture of manure compost, worm castings, lobster and kelp meal, mycorrhiza, green sand, and biochar. It's ready to use straight out of the bag with no need for additional components or tilling. If you love growing fresh and hearty vegetables, herbs, and flowers, Coast of Maine's Castine Blend Organic Raised Bed Mix is the perfect choice for you. At Coast of Maine, we believe in growing organically and buying locally. Castine Organic Raised Bed Mix can be found at these fine stores.
Pickering Valley Feed and Farm, Exton, Pennsylvania. Ashcombe Farm and Greenhouses, Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Tony's Farm and Garden, Windsor, New Jersey.
Is she gone?
Nope, she's still standing there.
What is she doing?
I think she's watching the grass grow.
That's our job.
I know, right? She's watching the grass grow, the flowers grow. Ooh, look, the trees are growing.
Can't say as I blame her. Remember where she bought all this stuff?
Duh, bought us there too.
Bloomers Home and Garden Center. Find us online at bloomers.com.
You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies, 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden. Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. I'm Len. He's Julio. That's Sam behind the board. And we've got Aaron making us look good on YouTube. All right. I think we look good. I'm afraid to look. Anyway, I am much younger in person.
Don't believe the hype.
And thinner.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, look, it's that time of year. Everybody else's hydrangeas are usually going through their first bloom cycle and they're done. Yeah. And other people are out there still waiting, you know, like it's an egg going to hatch and all of a sudden it'll bloom. And they're saying, how come mine haven't bloomed? And we've started to get the calls. We started to get the calls. Why isn't my hydrangea blooming?
Oh, gosh.
Okay. First of all, you only cut back your hydrangea right after it blooms. Drop the mic. Okay. Number 2, the old varieties of hydrangeas only bloom on their old wood. What that means is the growth from last year. So don't cut them back in the fall. Boy, husbands, do you hear me out there?
Landscapers.
You don't cut back everything. Yeah, landscapers. You know what? I had to clean up done. They cut back all my hydrangeas in spring and April, like, you know, a month before they're supposed to bloom. Right. They cut them all back.
Wait a whole year.
Now what?
Anyway, only after they bloom. And again, the older varieties, they bloom only once and it's on their old wood. So that means last year's growth. It has to harden off and it has to go through the winter and then they'll bloom. They're newer varieties that are ever blooming that they will come back and bloom on their new head. But if you don't see them blooming, you probably have an older variety. It just, that's the thing. Just leave them alone. Leave them alone. The big round balls that everybody loves, that's the macrophylla type. Macrophyllas can be pink or white, or usually it's pink or blue, and everybody loves the blue ones. And that those, again, right after they bloom. There's panicle types. Those are the kinds that are starting to come out now. They flower a little bit later, and that they have more of a triangular, wouldn't you say, Julio?
Yeah.
A triangular
shape,
yeah, like a cone-shaped flower, and that they fade to pink in the fall, most likely pink. Sometimes a little bit of different colors, but mostly pink. Newer ones are varieties are actually almost red. Just leave them alone. Just leave them alone. Don't cut back your hydrangeas, and that if you need to because they're overgrowing an area or something, you just really don't have much choice. But the best thing to do is to do it after they bloom or not at all. Okay? Because what's happened is they're not flowering. It's not because of anything that you did. It's probably because something, well, maybe you did it. The guilty ones stand up. It's you. Go ahead and admit it. We have a support group. That again, if it's landscaper, relative, what have you, just cut them a break and just see if you can teach them. It's a teaching moment.
It is.
Yeah, Aaron, you have little kids. You have a lot of teaching moments.
Very long teaching moments.
Long teaching moments.
Yeah, your hydrangeas will be an even longer one.
Yeah.
They come and cut them again.
That's right.
I promise you that.
That's right.
I'm teaching those landscapers everything.
Yeah, good.
That's right.
Sure.
All right. Again, it's probably they were pruned back at the wrong time.
Mm-hmm.
If they are the newer varieties, they probably will still get a bloom on them at some point. If it's the older varieties, there's always next year. Anyway, all right. We'll be back in the garden right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. Do you think you have insects eating away your nice, beautiful lawn? Fertilum's Bug Blaster Plus Above and Below is the product for you. Fertilum's Bug Blaster Plus Above and Below not only controls chinch bugs, which is a surface-feeding insect, but also controls grubs, which is a subsurface feeding insect. It does it all, guaranteed. When most homeowners see their lawn turning brown in the summer, they think grubs, damage from the larva, Japanese beetle. But in many cases, it could be chinch bugs. Chinch bugs are hard to see because they are so small and you'd need to get down on your hands and knees to see them. If you misdiagnose your problem, Fertilum's Bug Blaster Plus Above and Below has you covered. The product will control both chinch bugs and grubs. This summer, control your pest problems with Fertilum's Bug Blaster Plus Above and Below. It also may be used in flower beds, on landscape ornamentals, trees, and shrubs. Fertilum's Bug Blaster Plus Above and Below will also control crane fly larvae, ants, mole crickets, sod webworms, bill bugs, and many more. Your property will be pest-free with Fertilum's Bug Blaster Plus Above and Below. So next time you're visiting your favorite garden center, ask for Fertilum's Bug Blaster Plus Above and Below and expect to have the best-looking lawn and landscape in the neighborhood.
If you're like me, then you absolutely love birds. The Bird Sanctuary at Bloomer's Home and Garden Center has you covered. They're dedicated to the care and feeding of wild birds of all sorts. Want to bring more birds to your yard? Then you got to see this place. Bloomers has a huge flock of feeders, birdhouses, birdseed, and much, much more. Want to feed the birds and not the squirrels? They have this absolutely cool bronze bird feeder that will drive those sneaky squirrels nuts. They'll be moving to the next door neighbor in no time. OMG. Bloomers have these absolutely adorable birdhouses that will turn your yard into the perfect bird B&B. They carry all types of wild bird seed, suet, seed cakes, and mealworms. Bloomer stocks, Lyric, Coles, CNS, Pine Tree Farms, and much, much more that will keep those beautiful birds coming back for more. Bloomer's Home and Garden Center is located in Washington Township in Gloucester County. For more information and directions, check them out on the web at bloomers.com. Bloomer's Home and Garden Center, you got to see this place.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Well, the other day, Aaron brought in a picture of a trumpet vine that he had reached the canopy of his large tree. Pretty amazing, huh, Aaron? Huh?
Yeah, man. I had no clue what was going on. Like I just came home and I just saw a couple red kind of like hornbills. Right?
Well,
Yeah.
What's the park that's over near where you live?
Big one or small
Big
one?
one.
There's the
More like near Atco. It's like the
yeah. Wharton State
Wharton
Forest.
State Forest.
Yeah.
I remember walking through there.
Yep.
And I've only been there once.
Right.
And that in the canopy is just like at your house.
Right.
Is trumpet vine growing.
Yeah.
And the noise of the hummingbirds that were going into them. I mean, it was like, a swarm of bees. It sounded like a swarm of bees.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to find the bees, and I look up real high.
Yep.
And it's all the hummingbirds going in the trumpet vine.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be in a hurry to get that taken out. I'd leave it right where it is.
Well, it has attracted hummingbirds,
Yeah?
And that's why I put the bird feeder on that side of the walkway.
Okay.
Closer to it.
The hummingbird
The hummingbirds are going not to the bird feeder, but
no,
they're
do
going
you
to the
have a
trumpet vine.
hummingbird feeder though?
Not yet.
So you have the regular
Not yet.
feeder.
Yeah. I'm actually looking to get that.
The broom feeder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The squirrel proof, right?
Yeah, I'm going to tell your daughter.
Oh,
use
yeah.
a hummingbird feeder.
She's looking at that hum yum.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that 2-on-1.
Again, a trumpet vine, the description of a weed is not like it's like dandelion or whatever. A true description of a weed is a plant that's planted in the wrong spot.
Correct.
And that it could be a tomato plant that's in the middle of your landscape bed. It could be where, again, English ivy will grow up your tree and can get so dense. Carl, my son, at his house, where in his backyard, there is a tree that is soon to be dead because it is been overtaken by English ivy.
Wow.
He cut back. Now, this is how you take care of these things. How am I going to get it? How am I going to pull it down? You don't. What you do is you go to the base of the tree to where the ivy is climbing up the tree, and you get a good sharp pair of pruners. Don't fear the shears.
That's right.
And you cut all around where that ivy is, and that you've got to be careful, because if you have poison ivy, which we're going to talk about in our next segment, you just want to make sure that you have gloves on, and that on the YouTube channel, if you can get over to our YouTube channel, we'll show you some gloves that will be perfect for any type of poison ivy. But there's other types. Creeping Charlie. Creeping Charlie is a thing that you think is poison ivy all the time, but it has 5 leaves. Grows in trees all the time. I have it in a couple of different areas. And that where you need to cut it at the base of the tree, but then you need to take care of it and spray it with a non-selective herbicide for poison ivy and ivy. And it doesn't have to be necessarily all non-selective. I guess it's more selective, where there's some of the poison ivy controls can be used on your lawn as well. But generally, if you're cutting your grass all the time, you don't have a poison ivy issue in your lawn. It's always in landscape beds. But the ivies that climb, wild wisteria.
Oh, gosh.
There are different types of wisteria, and that the wild one is just totally invasive. I have it where it is grown through a forsythia hedge. Granted, it looks pretty cool when it blooms because you have a purple and a yellow blooming, and it's pretty. But the problem is that it doesn't stay that long, and that the runners are all over the ground and literally are on my driveway.
In your driveway.
It is a mess. So you got to attack these things, and you've got to cut them out, and don't worry about when the leaves and things die in the upper parts of your tree. As far as the ivy goes or the vine goes, that will you will never even notice it once those leaves fall. It'll be brown in the beginning, but then eventually they all dry up. And then you've got we had major poison ivy growing through it was a Yoshino cryptomeria that was about 40 feet tall. And it was all the way at the top. And we were like, what are we going to do? Is this thing going to look bare afterwards? And it didn't. We cut it back, all died back, flushed back out, and it covered up anything that was there and took care of the poison ivy on the ground level. And then that way we got it taken care of.
That's great.
Anything to add, Julio?
No. I like the way you said it, keep the vine there rather than pulling it out. Because
trumpet vine.
Yeah.
Trumpet vine, ornamental.
Ornamental, yeah.
Most people are like, I still have not seen a hummingbird.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed to say.
Yeah, we've only seen a few, and it is probably because of the bells on the trumpet vine,
Right.
like for real. And then like the other issue that I'm having is it's very evasive. I mean, in a sense where it's taken over. Like in my backyard in particular,
Right.
The previous owners of the house, they just left the vines, and so they're growing in every direction.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to tame it. There was even actually an old basketball hoop back there that it has overgrown and it has overtaken. It has to be at least 20 years.
Yeah, that's going to be.
Yeah.
That's going to be
constant
again,
battle.
cut that back, cut
Yeah.
that out, and then But I tried to have it grow up a telephone pole unsuccessfully.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it couldn't tap into a cambium and get to nutrient source. I'm not sure why it didn't work. But again, it's
Power.
you got to make that decision, that you want the ornamental, and it comes down to the flowers are great on a trumpet vine. The hummingbirds it brings are I'm envious, quite frankly, that I wish I had them come. I mean, it's a decision you got to make, but it can be an issue. Like you said, it seems to grow everything. It's really woody too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like a clematis or anything. It actually has a trunk to it.
they're
And
thick.
the areas in which they are sprouting new sprouts, I'm starting to realize that they're coming up out of the ground like woody
will.
woody stems.
They're runners.
Right.
And that what it'll do is it go from the root back
Yeah.
up, and then it'll send that. And that's something where if you cut it, you'll control them. But also, if it's in an area where it's in a bed, or if it's in an open area that's not cut, they're going to grow, and they're going to grow on top of the ground. So spraying those would not, any of the runners and that you spray are not generally going to affect the main plant.
Okay.
All right. So, but it can be a problem. It can be a problem. But poison ivy is the worst.
Yeah.
Because it's we're going to talk about poison ivy
Next.
in our next segment, and we're going to mention some people that like poison ivy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We'll be right back right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. Your next houseplant is waiting for you in Bloomers Home and Garden Center's greenhouse. Bloomers recognizes that houseplant choices are as important to your interior decorating as the fabric on your couch. The right plant, paired with the perfect container, can bring a dynamic change to your home. A houseplant brings life to your world and connects your home's interior to the greater outdoors. Even a small succulent placed on your coffee table has a way of connecting your living room to the Amazon rainforest. How about an air plant in your kitchen? Looking for an indoor flowering plant to add color to your plant palette? Bloomers has a large revolving assortment of flowering beauties. From aglaonemas to ZZ plants, Bloomers Greenhouse is stocked with your next favorite indoor plant. Bloomers carries a large selection of pottery and containers to match your home's decor and make any of your plants more beautiful. Bloomers experts can help you care for your plants and have the fertilizer, insecticides, leaf shine, and specialty soils you need to grow healthy and happy indoor plants. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center's greenhouse and make every room in your home a living room. Visit bloomers.com for more information. That's bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden.
Dreaming of a gorgeous garden? Give your azaleas, rhododendron, blueberries, and evergreens a powerful boost with their #1 acid-loving plant food, Espoma Organic Hollytone. Hollytone is a perfect blend of natural, long-lasting ingredients that nourish plants for stronger roots, faster growth, and bountiful blooms. Plus, it's easy to use and safe for people, pets, and planet. Visit espoma.com for a retailer near you and helpful gardening tips. Espoma, a natural in the garden since 1929.
You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies, 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden. Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Did you see the Barbie movie? That's what we were talking about during the break. Aaron is singing the old song.
Right.
Yeah, it's a Barbie world. Right. Anyway.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
All right, poison ivy.
Right, poison ivy.
Ah, nasty plant. Yeah. The oil gets on your skin. You start to scratch, and then it bubbles up, and it's like you can get blisters, and it spreads. Oh, my gosh, it's the worst. Same thing that we were talking about in our last segment, where you cut the base if it's climbing up a tree. But if it's in an area where it looks like this little innocent plant that you can just grab with your hands, don't do it. Leaves of 3, like Julio said in the beginning. Leaves of 3, let it be. Your best thing to do is like we have, if you go on YouTube, we have these gloves. How far is that glove? That's going past your elbow up to your shoulder. And a woman created this glove, and that she sewed it up herself, and she basically sewed the cuff of the glove onto a long-sleeved fabric so that you can go and pull out stuff without fear of getting it on your skin. Now, if you notice, they're very floral. Okay?
It's all about the garden.
I'm not feeling very masculine right now, but then again, I can pull it off.
You can pull it off.
Anyway, but so you don't get any of that oil on your skin, but you've got to be careful. If you get it even on your clothes, you can transfer it to your skin, and it's all about that oil. Now, leading up to the break, I had said that some people like poison ivy. It's birds and bird people, fanatical bird. It's a native, I think. It's a native. But it actually, with its flower, it gets a lot of berries in the fall, and that's why all of a sudden you have poison ivy all over your yard. It's because the birds are eating the berries, they digest the berries, they relieve the berries, and they have this nice little, seedling turd that will sprout and grow, and it goes all over your yard again. So you got to make sure that you get after it. Julio, what are some of the different types of herbicides you can use?
Yes, Bonide has a great product called Poison Oak and Ivy Killer. That one's a ready-to-use spray that you can use.
Yep.
And like Len said, you cut the vine at the base.
Yeah.
And then, you spray it.
If it's small enough.
If it's small
like,
enough,
put it this way. If it's
small enough,
like
just spray it.
If it's knee high, you can do it. You can do it with
spray
this.
it.
Don't be afraid to spray it twice. So if you go, it's weird talking with this glove on. So if you go and you spray it once, and it's still on the yellow side a couple of weeks later, give it another shot. Yeah. And then, because it needs to be absorbed into the plant through the roots, and that will kill it. Definitely. Sucker punch is one that is used, and we talked about how when you cut it at the base, you're not necessarily killing the top of the plant if it's growing up a tree or up something like that, but the bottoms will flush out. So if you use sucker punch, that's something that will control the suckers that are left, and that rather than reclimb up the tree or what have you, that'll take care of it. A lot of times you'll see it on fence lines, and it just comes out of nowhere. So again, leaves of 3, let it be. Let it be. And leaves of 5 usually is Creeping Charlie. They look very similar. Very similar. I know that I have some. Right. My son, oh my gosh, poor Carl. He gets it, and it covers him. There are soaps. Like after you're dealing with poison ivy, make sure you go right inside, take a shower, and scrub. because you want to get that oil off your skin right away before it gets into it and starts growing. Carl gets poison ivy, and he has it for weeks.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they bubbles up. It's like it's just
Blisters?
Awful. Oh, yeah. It gets bad. We had a caller, the last time we talked about poison ivy, he called all proud and very envious. I don't get poison ivy because some people are resistant to it. But I'm not. Did you get it?
I haven't touched one ever.
You may be resistant. You don't know it.
I might not
You can hire yourself out.
I could.
I am a poison ivy controller. So
hire me.
Because
here.
I mean, I would pull it out with your hands, wipe your face, and it was like,
no problem.
no problems.
Now let me ask you something.
Yes.
Does the wind, can that blow the oil?
Oils? Generally not. No. So it's not like
It's not
airborne.
It's not an airborne kind of a.
No, you got to kind of break it, mess with it. The leaf, and that the leaf will those
Actually,
oils are in the leaf.
In the leaf itself.
Yeah. Aaron, this is going to be a strange question. You get poison ivy?
I haven't gotten it in years.
But you
I had
have
it when I was a kid.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Oatmeal
right.
bath. My mom put me in.
Oh, okay.
Oatmeal
That's
bath.
that's an itch reliever thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it worked.
But you remembered.
Yeah.
So again, it's poison ivy is no joke when you get it, because I mean, I'm not recommending this to anyone because it's stupid, but I just scratch the crap out of my skin and make it into scabs, and it usually goes away. But that's because I'm stupid. Anyway, on that note, we're going to move on to our next segment. Again, poison oak and ivy killer. Bonide has a good one. I know that there's also one from Fertilome that controls any of those ivies. And you'll see there's also there's a concentrate. So if you have a lot of it, there's something called BK32 that also very good for wiping out poison ivy. So don't be afraid to spray it, because, man, you don't want it. Kids all of a sudden are running it, and they don't know it, and all of a sudden it's all over their legs.
Yep.
Anyway. All right, we'll be back in the next segment right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. You know, some of our most frequent questions revolve around organic container gardening for houseplants, annuals, and of course, vegetables. Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Blend organic potting soil is a lightweight soil mixture made with salmon, blueberry, lobster, and other compost, as well as calcium and chitin-rich lobster shells, sphagnum peat, perlite, and kelp meal. It is a great soil. And Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor organic potting soil is rich in organic material, creating lush, disease-resistant plants that require less watering, less feeding. Its rich, dark brown color provides the perfect balance between water retention and drainage needed for healthy plants. Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Blend organic potting soil is available at these local retailers.
Sickles Market, Little River, New Jersey. Espen Shades Garden Centers and Greenhouse, Fleetwood, Pennsylvania. Pickering Valley Feed and Farm, Exton, Pennsylvania.
Wanting to up your game in the vegetable garden? With 90 years of organic gardening experience, the Espoma Company has you covered. Espoma Organic Garden Tone is not your average garden variety fertilizer. Garden Tone is especially blended for organic vegetable gardens. Its all-natural formula contains Biotone, a blend of organic ingredients that supplies essential nutrients for strong, healthy plants and mouth-watering vegetables. Its slow-release formula provides continuous feeding. The Biotone contained in Garden Tone is a combination of organic ingredients and beneficial microbes to help roots grow deeper and faster for bigger, more bountiful harvests. Garden Tone is simple to use and safe for people, pets, and the planet. No harmful chemicals or synthetic fertilizers are ever added. You can find Garden Tone at fine garden centers. Visit espoma.com to find a retailer near you. Garden Tone from Espoma, a natural in the garden since 1929. You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB, and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies, 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. What's bugging you, folks? Yes, we're at that point now where it's bugging us. A listener called the Bloomers in the Garden hotline and asked our help to identify an insect he's battling. Listen to his call.
Hi, good morning. I have a question about an insect that I found out in my garden. It's a little white insect that can hop pretty far, and it causes this white cottony material, at some of the newer growth of the plant. I've been treating it with insecticidal soap, but you got to stay after it, and I'm wondering how you can get rid of this. If there can give me the name of the bug, I can look it up, or provide me with some additional information, that would be great. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bloomers in your garden, your one-stop shop. We can give you all of that. You have a snowy plant hopper, leaf hopper. The little cottony stuff that you see, that is the nymphs that are growing and hide. They're so tiny that they're hiding in that, and if you actually poke it, they'll hop out if they're old enough. Yeah. And most of the time you can see that, and they'll go several inches. It's not like our other leaf hopper flyer that we were highlighting, spotted lanternfly, which is also a leaf hopper. All right, so what do you do? What do you do? These guys end up where they get completely white, and the good news is that they really don't do much damage. They may eat a little bit here or there. The concern is that leaf hoppers are known to spread diseases, and that's what you really don't want. But this particular one, the snowy leaf hopper or plant hopper, that they are not known to spread disease as of yet. Yeah, guess what? You're probably the first one to find out. I was like, great. Yeah. You'll see them on azaleas and woody ornamentals and in your landscape. And that, again, the fluffy part that you see, are the nymphs. So that they're, every insect goes through a stage where it's an egg first and then a nymph, and that those nymphs are hiding in that fluffy cottony spot that you see. Kind of like how a lot of people think that they're woolly aphids or something like that, but they're not. They're not. They are actually a plant hopper or leaf hopper.
Yeah. I thought it was a mealybug at first.
Yeah, no, because mealybugs don't hop.
Yeah,
they don't hop. So they can secrete honeydew and like, look, we're running out of time on the show. It's quite plain simply, it's the refuse of the insect that turns everything under it black. All right, it's their poop.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, next. And again, it's easy to control. The insecticidal soap is a nice. It's the nice insecticide. It's nice. It's nice. But it doesn't always work. Malathion, or better yet, triple action. Fertilum triple action is going to work. Organic. It's got neem oil plus a pyrethrin, and that's what's going to work. Right. So you want that. Malathion will work, but that is a non-organic, a little bit stinky, but it kind of smells like you're doing something, like how when you clean with bleach.
Right.
It's definitely going to be clean.
Yeah. It's gonna be clean, right.
I may pass out, but it's going to work. But again, triple action, malathion. I was trying to see if whether like a Captain Jack's or it's spinosad is really what you want to look for. Spinosad, because Captain Jack's now is we're not going into
everything.
it.
Yeah.
It's spinosad.
Yeah,
It's spelt just like it sounds. Spinosad. That is an organic that probably would be good. Would not be good for it. Would kill it. So again, those three: Malathion, Triple Action by Fertilome, and spinosad. Let us know how you make out.
Yep.
We'll be right back right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies 1250 AM WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden. Me and Julio down at the schoolyard, learning stuff every day, teaching every day. Listen, if you forgot or didn't want to ask something and need to know, call the hotline, 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Leave us your question. We'll call you back with your answer. If you want to leave a text and pictures, you can do that too.
Right. Yeah. Hey, if you want to listen to Bloomers in the Garden anytime, search for us in your favorite podcasting platform, all right? And go to bloomers.com and you can visit us on the radio tab. So don't forget that.
Don't forget YouTube. You can see what we look like, and you can see these fancy purple gloves
they're wonderful.
that I'm wearing right now.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week, the same time, right here in the garden.
See you in the garden.